one, baby.
Names up, baby.
Dolphins
Names
number
up.
one.
I swear, if a certain quarterback is mentioned in the comments, I got my beers ready. I'm gonna crack it open.
Or is it the
We got
Serbian
the
kid?
Serbian kid,
This looks done. Oh my God, it looks fantastic.
I hate you so much. No, the beat man. Not a beat man. Woo! I'm the man. I said it, and it's reality. All right.
Congratulations.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk, Fins Talk. I'm your host, Steve Malloy, and joining me, as always, tonight, the one and only Rob Mosley, a.k.a. Dolphin Thirsty. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing awesome. And hello, Anthony and Evan, before I forget. But yeah, Dolphins Thirsty. Come check it out. It's a good website. Bobby has given a lot of good draft stuff. We have a good trivia question on there, and it's all kinds of fun stuff. A lot of good draft contacts, some draft profiles, not as many as I would have liked, but there's still several that I think could be Dolphin targets that are on my site that you could read about. So it's fun. Good stuff. Thank you, Steve.
No, absolutely. And then, of course, you've got Dolphins Daily as well. How you doing there with that? And what
I
do you
go
got
every
going on?
tomorrow. I'm going to be going live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. I'm also Dolphins Thirsty on there and Facebook, and on Twitter I'm Dolphin Thirsty. Drop the S, but I'm still super. So it's all good over there. So all good. I'm on all, and I'm even on Instagram now. So I'm on all the social media platforms.
You're moving up in the world, man.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
the Jeffersons.
With fans like Anthony and Evan, you can't go wrong. So
There you go. So thanks everybody for joining tonight. As Rob said, I see Anthony's in the house. Evan, thank you for joining us. And please, everyone, like, subscribe, share with your friends, your families, your neighbors. And always remember, we may not agree on everything Dolphins, but there's one thing we can all agree on, is we are all Dolphins. So it looks like I'm back. I know I wasn't here last week. And, man, I'm just glad to be back. I was down in South Florida in your neck of the woods, my home state. I wasn't in my hometown, but I was down in my home state visiting family, and had a great time. Got to go to the beach one day, and forgot to put on the old suntan lotion. And at the end of the day,
Sunshine State, so it's
yeah.
okay, you know.
So at the end of the day,
good.
I was looking like a lobster, man. It was terrible. I was all burned up. But anyway, we got a good show tonight, Rob. I wanted to talk a little bit about, of course, our main topic tonight is Chris Grier. Is he a lame duck? Talk a little bit about the draft, moving up, or are we going to move down? And a little bit about the quarterbacks since Aaron Rodgers was finally traded to the New York Jets. Talk a little bit about the quarterbacks that we'll be facing this coming year and the defenses. And so I'll tell you what, Rob, we'll go ahead and talk about this first. We'll talk about a little bit about the Aaron Rodgers trade. Of course, he was traded to the New York Jets. And I honestly believe that it made the New York Jets team a little better, and they have a lot of room, a lot of cap. They have monies, they have draft choices, and trust me, they are going to continue to provide Aaron Rodgers with more weapons. And they already had a third-ranked defense last year. So, what's your take on the news about Aaron Rodgers, Rob?
I mean, it was kind of anticlimactic. We all assumed that it was going to be done. It's just a matter of time, not if. It was a matter of when. So, I'm ready for it. To be a good team, you got to beat good teams. It's good competition throughout the division.
Oh my gosh.
And, it's like a lot of people, when, the preseason predictions start coming out as the season approaches, a lot of people are going to have the Dolphins third place in the AFC East. And I am fine with that because they're going to have a chip on our shoulder. We're going to go out there and we're going to, kick butt because I'm going to be Mr. Positive, looking forward to next season. We're going to kick butt. So there's to me, there's no pressure in that because you're going to have to beat good teams no matter what, So it's just added to the fun. What I find funny is so that everyone's just anointing Aaron Rodgers to be to get into the Super Bowl, but he couldn't even in the NFC, which is weaker, couldn't even get the Packers to and yes, this year the Packers didn't have that much talent, but the other years they were the number 1 seed and all of that, and he couldn't even get them to the Super Bowl. So why they just think he's going to come in and supplant Patrick Mahomes and get Josh Allen out of the way, get Joe Burrow out of the way, and just automatically, those are the teams that have won recently. It's the only reason I'm picking them ahead of our Dolphins. But then also, jump ahead of the Dolphins. So to me, there's a lot of puffing him up. But he might be great. But the thing is, that's just I find it funny that so many of them are anointing them Super Bowl champs or Super Bowl contenders. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I like making us Super Bowl contenders, so I'm not going to pretend a total phony. I like my Dolphins to be a Super Bowl contender, but I just find it as a little too premature to be thinking he's just going to come in and lead his team to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. Well, like you said, we'll see. I know Aaron Rodgers, he had a slight drop off last year. Will he have a better year or will he continue to decline? We'll see for sure. But going back to what I was talking about, the quarterbacks that we're going to be facing next year. So here they are. Of course, we're going to be facing Aaron Rodgers twice. We're going to be facing Josh Allen twice. I know a lot of folks are going to laugh at this, but we're going to be facing Mac Jones twice. But here's the thing with Mac Jones. He has a real offensive coordinator this year with the hiring of Bill O'Brien. The New England Patriots hired him. So we'll see. But we face him twice. We're going to be facing Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson with Sean Payton. So that's going to be a tough matchup. We've got Derek Carr we're going to face. We've got Dak Prescott. We got Daniel Jones of the New York Giants. We've got Pat Mahomes. And a good possibility we'll be playing against Bryce Young, rookie quarterback. So we'll see how that turns out. Then we got, of course, Justin Herbert again. Then we have Lamar Jackson is a question. We don't know where he's going to be playing. I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere in the AFC, but we'll say Lamar Jackson and no other than the Super Bowl quarterback, Jalen Hurts. So we're playing both quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes next year. Tough. These are not the same quarterbacks we played last year. We played against some bad quarterbacks last year. And so we're going to come up. So my point is, if Miami Dolphins, if we're going to make a run for that Super Bowl, we're going to be favorites for that Super Bowl. The Miami Dolphins defense is going to have to play a hell of a lot better than it did last year, especially against these powerhouse teams. So I think the defense is going to play a significant role this year in getting us wins or helping us get wins. There's going to have to be some complimentary football this year.
Well, of course, it always has to be complimentary. I mean, it's very important. And like I say, yes, we know it's Herbert, Anthony, Justin Herbert. I think that's what you said. What did you say, Steve?
I said Justin Herbert. It's Justin Herbert. I'm bad with names. What can I say?
We were just testing you, Anthony. He was just testing you. I'm bad with names too, but I did catch it. But I didn't want to. You're the main host, so I don't want to mess with the boss. I might.
By all means, please correct me. I don't mind spot checks.
And he's also right that we don't play Derek Carr this year. So.
We don't. I thought we played Derek Carr this year. Who's he playing?
No, remember Jimmy G's now with the Raiders.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
So,
My bad. Yeah.
but
my
anyway,
bad.
other than that,
Yeah.
we're off to a great start because you guys all rock. Thank you guys for pointing everything out there. So, but anyway, yes, like I said earlier, though, you got to be. I'm not worried about who you play because you're going to have to beat good teams to get to the
Yeah.
playoffs. You're going to have to beat good teams in the playoffs, and you're going to have to play the best team in the NFC to win the freaking Super Bowl, which is the goal of every team that starts the season.
That's right.
Realistically, the Dolphins are actually in the top echelon of teams that have a good chance to be, to be up there. So, like I say, I'm not worried about it. It is what it is. And every year people love to schedule watch and they say, oh, this team's going to be easy. Then that team goes on a great run to start the season and they're better than anyone thought. Teams that we think are going to be great, they could fall back with injuries and everything else that happens in football. And they could fall back and, not be as motivated as they were the last year or whatever. So you never know when you look at a schedule. You catch a team on a bad day.
Thank you, Miami Fan Talk Show. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Yes. Like and subscribe to the Fins Talk Sports Network. Also, check out Miami Fan Talk Show. They have good stuff going on too. So, I think they're Miami. I forget the name of their network, but they're good stuff too. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but it's never easy in the NFL. Every year in the NFL is a tough ride. There's no, there's no Alabama playing Sisters of the Poor. It's a pro team versus a pro team every single week. And any week, anything can happen, I mean, there's favorites, obviously, and, obviously there's favorites, but anything can happen. It's a tough league. You got to be tough to get through. We got a talented roster. I think we're set up well. And it's like any team in the NFL, the key is the teams that stay healthiest the longest and through the most games have a better chance to win. The ones that, there's always going to be injuries. No team's going to avoid injuries altogether. But for the most part, you got to be lucky that some of your key positions, key impact players do not get hurt. They stay healthy for the whole season and get you into the playoffs and win some important games in January. So,
yeah, December, January.
And then ending in February, of course.
Yep, that's the key. That's the key. But here are the teams we play next year, and I'll give you their defensive ranking. We got to play the Bills, which was number 2 last year. We got to play the Patriots. They were number 9. The Jets are number 4. The Panthers were playing this year. They're 17. Cowboys were 6th. Broncos, we play. They're 12. Raiders are 23. They were 23 last year. Giants were 16. Play them. Titans are 13. Ravens, we play again this year. They were 3rd. Chiefs are 14. Chargers were 19. And Eagles were 8th. And the Commanders were 7. Now it's interesting because the Chiefs were 14 and they won the Super Bowl. Their defense was ranked 14. So they were in the top 15. So here's the deal. We play 10 teams that are in the top 15 defenses this year. 7 of those are top 10. And 3, of course, are top 15. So this is what I mean by our defense is going to have to play complementary football next year. They're going to have to, our whole team, our offense is going to have to play at a really, really good level this year. And our defense.
Special teams too, everywhere.
Special teams too,
all across
absolutely.
the boards, they got to play at great positions. And that's what I thought Miami talked about. But you know what they say about assuming. So I figured your name was there. But yes, all you guys are great. Make sure you give them a good follow. And also Anthony, right? We're going to talk about the draft in a little while. But yeah, doubling down on defense. We very well could do that. But as you were saying, Steve, like I said, yes, once again, you're pointing out, good quarterbacks, good defenses, good everything. But you got it. Like, I would just go back to what you're going to have to beat good teams to be a good team. I believe the Dolphins are a good team. I think teams would look at the Dolphins this year and say, oh, crap, we got to play the Dolphins finally. Instead of us looking at a schedule saying, oh, crap, we got to play the Chiefs. Teams may look at us and say, oh, crap, we got the Dolphins coming up and they're ass kickers and they're going to, we got to worry about them, And that's it. And the good thing about this Dolphins team is that they play every single week. Because I mean, last week when we had some of those, last season when we had some of those bad streaks, we were competitive in every game. There wasn't like one game, because even the one game that looked like a blowout last year against the Jets really was a competitive game until this wheel fell off towards the end of the game. So, I mean, we're a solid team, staying healthy. Like I said, every team has the same thing, avoiding turnovers, creating turnovers, and that could be the difference from.
There you go. That's something we didn't do last year on defense, was create turnovers.
So avoid them on offense and create them on defense is the key, and take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, I agree. Good points, Rob. So let's go ahead and talk. Let's go ahead and talk about Chris Grier. I'm going to ask you the question: is Chris Grier this year a lame duck GM?
If we don't win this year, yes. And if he makes actions before this year by trading away a future number one, then it's going to be a sign that he knows he's probably might be on the way out if we don't win now. So say if they trade a number one to move into the first round this year, when we all, like I say, the so-called experts, I haven't even looked that much into the draft, but next year's draft class is supposed to be even stronger than this year's draft class. Why would you trade a number one to move up into the first round, giving up one next year? To me, especially if it's not for an impact position, like some people are saying it for running back. Yes, running backs are good, but I think our running backs on our team right now are good enough that we can get by and be a very competitive team, and still add either a veteran back that gets cut or via trade with a lower pick. But if I see Chris Grier move up, then I'm just thinking, okay, he knows either we're going to win this year and he's going to look like a hero and no one's going to care that he gave up the first round pick, or he's like, well, if I screw up and we lose and I don't have a pick, I'm not even going to be picking that pick next year anyway. So what do I care if the team doesn't have? So that's how I think he's all in, yes. But if we don't win a playoff game, I would hope he's a lame duck, because Mr. Ross has given this man every resource to get every player he's asked for. He gets them the contracts. So, yes, the only thing that scares me with saying he's a lame duck, then I'm almost afraid, though, that it may put by default McDaniel as a lame duck. And I do think McDaniel's made some inward roads that.
Good point.
But we've all said in the past, next time they do this, they have to blow it up altogether. If they get rid of the GM, they need to get rid of the coach so the new GM can come in and pick whoever he wants. So that's the only scary fun. So I hope he's not a lame duck, but his actions are going to tell in the next few months. And if the Dolphins don't win, then yeah, I think the whole team's, because this team, I'm sure Mr. Ross believes that this team is a playoff winning caliber team. Getting to the Super Bowl.
I hope he's thinking it's a Super Bowl winning team.
I hope that's his goal, of course. But every team has that goal, but you got to at least win a playoff game. We haven't had one for 20 plus years. That's what I always tells my sons. Let's win one playoff game, then worry about the next. Then get to that and then next if we're 3 playoff games if we're not the number one seed. So I'm with you on that 100%. Yes, he's entering the season of lame duckness, and especially if he starts trading away all of our access for the future, then he's like all in saying, well, I'm going to screw it. And I'm with Daniel. I've never been of the F the picks situation unless you're 1 or 2 players away and you really just put yourself over the top. And I guess that's where, but we started doing the F the pick before we were just 1 or 2 players away. But now we will see, because now we are a little closer. I like this roster. I'm looking forward to a good season. No excuses from anyone on the roster, from the last guy on the practice squad to the best player on the team. There's no excuses. You just got to show up to work every day, and they got to kick butt and play well. And, there's going to be things that don't go your way during the season. They're going to have to be resilient and not get into an extended losing streak like they have the past couple of seasons, where it just like kills you, because then you got to win so many games just to get back in that. So you just, you got to avoid that losing streak like we did towards the end of last year. We just barely beat the Jets to avoid that losing streak and not make the playoff. So you got to avoid those losing streaks. This is kind of like in baseball. You need some kind of ace out there to just say, well, we may have had a bad game, but this week we're just going to stop it, and that's why you need a well-rounded team, because either the defense could step up, the offense could step up, the special teams could step up. You got that ace that's going to say, okay, we're not going to have a 4 or 5 game losing streak, 7 game losing streak. Just kills you, it just, especially in the AFC East, it's going to kill you.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you mentioned about the running backs, and then you said something about moving up to get a running back. Is that correct?
Correct. Bobby has a good mock draft on there, and he was just making a scenario because there's been a lot of talk about the Dolphins moving up to get like the kid out of Alabama, Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back who had started at Georgia Tech, and he played his last season at Alabama. Really good back, fits what the Dolphins do well, but there are also other backs that they're not going to have to give up a first-round pick for in a deep running back class. I see no reason to trade up, and you can still get a guy that's going to, maybe a couple picks, and if you have to trade a lower pick to move up a couple spots in the second round to secure your guy, maybe. But to move way up into the first round, I just don't think it's feasible for the Miami Dolphins this year.
No, I agree.
As far as giving away draft picks, because like I say, you got to be ready, and you got to start building. Yes, the picks can work, but you also we haven't had a first round pick for 2 years in a row. You really, and then you're going to trade into the bottom of this one to end that drought, but then already next year not have a first round pick going into the, to me it makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100%. No, I'm not going to move up to get a running back. I don't care how good he is. And to be quite frank with you, I just want Miami to stay right where they're at. Now, if they have to move up to get a guy they want in the second round, I'm with you on that. I definitely agree. Now, going back on the running backs that we were talking about, the running backs we presently have on the roster, I think we can do just fine with the running backs we do have on the roster. I think they're going to have to add a veteran tackle, and I'm happy with Robert Jones at left guard. I really am. I'm happy with the line, other than the right tackle. I think we need to go out and we need to get a right tackle, and it's not only for Tua's protection, as I've said in the past, to protect his right, but we need some blockers that are good with this running game. And that's where I hope McDaniel learns his lesson from last year and utilizes the backs that he has, because they are good backs. And we saw that some flashes of that last year. And I hope they continue to do that, because this year he's going to have to use the running backs. There's no question.
No, I know. The good sign is I think he knows that the offensive line, Bobby Finstock, a.k.a. Bobby Melendez, has a good article up that the Dolphins had, Cameron Fleming's visit the Miami Dolphins this week. So that's a good sign that they know that Fleming, I know he's decent. You said you think he's decent. Cameron Fleming, he played for the Broncos last, and so at least they know it's a sign that okay, and I think it's a fallback option if the draft doesn't go well. And we got a question from Anthony real quick.
No, Anthony says that they signed a right tackle today.
Oh, did we? I missed that.
I missed that too. Who did they sign, Anthony? What right tackle did they sign today? Was it Cameron Fleming? Because if it's Cameron Fleming, I'm all for that. He rated really good with the PFF. Now he had 7 sacks last year, which I'm not real pleased with. But I think he's a good veteran right tackle. I think he would fit. Hell, I would even say bring back Brandon Shell. What happened to him? I haven't heard from him lately. But no, I haven't heard of any signing.
No, I know. Well, I think that's the guy that's kind of in the back pocket of the Dolphins. They're thinking that, they have him maybe or whatever. But, some other team could come in there too with the same plan. Like, oh, boom, So I don't know about that theory, but they seem to think that they can, they have them and stuff.
You're talking about Cameron Fleming?
Anthony, I don't see that. And on the thoughts about doubling down on defense, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah.
Just because, I just think we really need offensive line and maybe even a tight end more than
yes,
some of the
I agree. Tight end for sure.
But like I say, that's what makes the draft great. Anthony could be 100% right and they trade up into there and whatever, but
yeah, we never know.
I really don't know. I'll be honest.
I'm with you. I'd like to see Miami get a tight end, and I would like to get him to see specifically a blocking tight end. Look, if he's a tight end, he should be able to catch the ball, right? But all I want is a tight end that can block and he can act as another tackle on the line. And
like
that would definitely
Washington. Help. I know. I would say one of your favorite prospects.
Darnell Washington, for sure.
The fit for the Dolphins is Darnell Washington. And they say tight ends is one of the positions that takes the longest to learn once you get to the NFL. But for just blocking and say, block the hell out of this guy, he could probably come in day one and be our best blocking tight end.
I agree. I
from the
agree.
get-go. And then I think he's one of those guys that may very well end up being a better pro than he was in college because they didn't really throw the ball much to him
Right.
in college if you look at his receptions over the years. But the man's a huge target, man. I can't imagine him not being,
Yeah. Yeah.
be put in use in a system that McDaniel would dream up.
Right.
I know he did it with Gesicki, so people may be, but Gesicki wasn't the blocking type, and it was like obvious every time he went out there that he was going to be a receiver more than a blocking tight end.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think with watching it, I just think it'd be a good pick for the Dolphins. Not saying he's my favorite, but I like it. Michael says he's not seeing anything about a right tackle. I know Barry Jackson did not. I just went when he told me that I went to Barry Jackson. He's normally has the post of the Dolphins, but I don't see that he tweeted out anything about the Dolphins signing a right tackle.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
The other beat writers though, but I just checked that out real quick.
Yeah, I didn't see.
Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Give us a thumbs up, and guys, thank you for watching us. Before we still got a couple more minutes, but I just wanted to get that out of the way before we forget. Go ahead, Steve.
And I probably would forget. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We love you guys. We appreciate you. We couldn't do this without you for sure. Going back to Darnell Washington, I read a piece on him, and they were saying that some of the scouting reports were saying that in fact some teams might even convert him to a tackle, to an offensive tackle. So he must be
that. But to me, I really would like to see him as a tight end. I just think he's a dynamic. He's not going to burn by people. He's not that speedy tight end, but he's just a big hulking beast that, I mean, I just think he'd be great because I think if you block and then you slip out of there when they're just thinking you're blocking all game, dominating someone, and then you let him slip out as a tight end every so often. I mean, that's a big guy, man. I just like him a lot. He's one of my man crushes, as we say. I just really like his game. I know we got a lot of, I know Cody Mock's a popular guy on this network. I like him too.
Right.
I also like a lot more. The Red Sox got my attention for 1 second. Bergeron. I like Bergeron. There's a few guys I like that maybe a lot. And I like Chase Brown at running back. I don't hear a lot of hoopla about him. So there are other good guys that I like that I think the Dolphins could get. And I like Tucker Kraft. Okay.
You know who I like as a running back is Zach. Now I might pronounce his name wrong. Chabernet.
Hey, everyone knows who you're talking about on that one.
Yeah, so. He's good. I like him, but I don't know if he would be. I don't know if he would fit the scheme, the McDaniel running back scheme.
I think he'd be. I think he'd be good in it. I know Hank of the Saturday Show on noon. He loves himself. The kid out of Syracuse. So I mean, there's a lot of good backs.
Yeah.
So
Now, do you see Miami drafting a back in the second round, or do you see them going more for a tight end or linebacker or tackle? What do you see?
I hope that they do BPA within region. Like if they're on their draft board, the best player is a tight end, take a tight end. But don't just draft, obviously, as I say, because I'm not going to say if the best guy is a receiver, obviously that's not going to fit the Dolphins there. So I say BPA with a little lean towards also a position need, which I would say is offensive line, tight end. Even linebackers too could fall in there, but I know, people think we got David Long now and he may fall off, and people are still putting that. Hopefully Tyndall can still do well. And so we will see there, but I would say tight end, offensive line, and those are the betting odds. If you look, the Sun Sentinel beat writer the other day, and I retweeted it. He put out there that the betting odds say it's like tight end and offensive line at even. Both of them are the even, and then running back and other positions. I would have to go look at them. So, but that means nothing because no one knows what any team's going to do in the NFL draft. That's why they call it mock drafts, because it makes a mockery of all of us. It's just fun. I enjoy it. I've done mock drafts before. I was writing mock drafts by looking at Mel Kiper's old book and Arledge's guys. I'm talking about the big old blue book before the draft. All the cool people like Evan started watching. I was watching the draft way before that. So I watched it when it was on Tuesday morning starting. That's how long ago I've been watching the NFL draft. I've always loved it. Past couple of years, I'll be honest, because you see the colors I wear. I'm more of a Dolphin fan than just football fan in general. But like some of the guys were great football, and the other, watched Brett's show on
Huddle Up and Wait.
Dave, Huddle Up and Wait. Well, that's a great
Right.
show. They're all football knowledge. I'm more of like extensive Miami Dolphins talk because that's what I'm born and raised on. Now I could talk about the Boston Red Sox at you if you like baseball ever, but I'm more of a team guy than the overall sport guy. So it's fun. But yeah, I think those positions are the ones they need. That's what I want the Dolphins to do. But yeah,
Okay.
Monty Smith, Anthony, is a great player. I mean, don't get me wrong, if he falls, but not to move up into the first round, if that's what you're implying, or if you mean move up maybe a little bit in the second round. I don't know what you mean, Anthony. And if Bobby allowed me to do one little promotion on my site, hey, Anthony, I'm live tomorrow. If you want to join my show, I would drop the link for you. Goes for you too, Daniel and Michael Motivation. And the Miami Fan Talk Show. If I haven't subscribed to you already, Miami Fan Talk Show, I will go give you a subscription after this. All you guys are great. I love your Miami Dolphin channels. You rock. You make the Fins Talk network here great. You're making them grow. They're getting close to 1,000 followers. So don't forget to give them a big old shout out too. But yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, no, I'm not going to name any specific names, but like I said, I like tight end and offensive line and running back. Those are the three positions I would like to see addressed, before the draft's concluded. I would like to see those three are the most. I wouldn't mind the defensive lineman, wouldn't mind the Jack Campbell falling to us or something like that. But I'm like, take the best player available at a position of need, though, and see if he outranks the player that's already currently on your roster. So is Jack Campbell going to be a bigger improvement than Jerome Baker, or is our running back going to be a bigger improvement than Mozart that we pick, or is the tight end going to be a bit, whatever? You need to improve the roster, and that's how I look at it. If you can take a position that's going to improve your roster from day one of the, bing, nail it.
So best player available. And with that,
at a position of need,
and with that, folks, ladies and gentlemen, we have Fins Bandwagon following our show. Make sure you check them out. They always have some good content with Evan Posner and Michael Vogel. I always go there to get my peace of mind after a dose of reality here at Real Talk Fins Talk. Get a little warm and fuzzy. You can watch Fins Bandwagon. So, Rob, it's good to be back. Thank you again tonight for being my co-host and for being the host last week while I was in my absence. So I appreciate that. So close out. We're going to have to close out the show. It went a little too fast tonight, but hey, we'll be back on next week. And also remember, we got the draft coming up. We got a special draft show coming up on the Fins Talk Sports Network all 3 days. So make sure you catch us on for those the draft special coming up. So with that,
give you a special kudos, Steve. This is for you. You did not bring up the quarterback that happens to wear jersey number 1. You did not bring his name up tonight. I give you a big fins up and a Dolphins number 1 on that note alone. I love it. Thank you so much. I owe you one now.
No problem, man. All right, everybody. Remember, Dolphins number 1, baby. Dolphins number 1.